Ladies and gentlemen, how time flies when you're having fun, right? Because we've been having fun all day long with all those heated up matches for HGC China. Tetra and I are back to present to you the last one for today, though, and it's gonna be a good one potentially.
It could be. Both these teams are on 1 point after going 1-1 versus both CE and SPT, respectively. That's already very impressive. Now the question is, which one of them is better?
Yeah.
Because via the process of transference property, in theory, whichever team wins here, it means that means who is better out of SPT and CE too.
Oh, so there's a lot at stake here, Tetra, if you follow that logic. Science! All right.
Hooray for the law of transference property that just straight up doesn't apply to esports at all.
Yeah,
Hooray.
Unfortunately not. If only if it were that easy. But yeah, KT, as you said, you know, they do have a couple of new players, a couple of old players as well, though. Most importantly to mention, of course, Timeless. I think he's the team's captain, kind of, or at least the team's leader, I would say. But yeah, and then we also have ATeam, who just performed admirably well against SPT, whether it was just SPT kind of falling into chaos, we don't even know what happened in that game, or whether it was really the ATeam just turning it up, or whether it was the Maya factor, remains to be seen though. But if they can pull it off again, if they can show that moment of brilliance again, maybe even twice in a row, their first three-pointer might be theirs. Do you think we're going to see a Maya ban here, Tetra, against ATeam when their first pick?
Maiev ban? I think so. I mean, a Maiev ban is never that out of the question anyway. Like, it's just after that game from ATeam, it's just extra emphasized now.
Absolutely.
I would be very surprised if we don't see it.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree with you here. It looks mighty scary, doesn't it? For now, though, we see Sky Temple being locked in yet again, a map that, you know, has always been kind of popular in China in 2018 at least. So it looks like all the teams want to get it out of the way right off the get-go. And we've seen many tactics, many strategies being deployed here. Most importantly, of course, revolving around Abathur. We've seen that one today. And Globals. We've seen that many times as well. And it's ever so strong on Sky Temple.
Makes a lot of sense. Every global, every rotation, boss control. We saw a nice little play from a Junkrat earlier. We're going to start off, though, with Abathur. We also mentioned just how good he is here. Anytime you can control that structure health in some way, you're going to get some good value. And surprise, surprise, there goes Maiev.
So, Whitemane lost again, didn't it? It's now 0-2.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And I like this. Parrot theme being removed. It's been a clear favorite of TWT.
This doesn't have to be a ban in terms of, you know, we are actually afraid of it, but more like a ban, you know, these guys really like to play it. And if somebody likes to play something really, really much, just take it away and make them feel uncomfortable.
Decade is taken immediately by KT as Whitemane was prioritized by the A-team this time.
Yeah.
Genji has also been let through and then proceeded to be ignored.
Which is actually insane. Instead, his brother was taken, Hanzo. Feels strange, man. Also, though, Reynor is back in the mix. Still no Genji to be seen on either side. And it is once again Whitemane, Sally Whitemane, who, as we said earlier, is still looking for her first victory here in HGC China. But still, she receives such high prioritization. I wonder when we're going to see her in her full potential, you know, in her final form.
We will have to see. Like what you said, so far we've not seen that much success rate. There goes Illidan for the second time again against the A-team.
It's the A-team, as you said. Olele and his boys, they made plenty of use, actually, of Illidan during the playoffs of the previous phase. And we all remember how many games they were able to win with it, right? They were almost unstoppable and made it all the way to 5th place. Starting off at the very bottom, actually, which is just an insane run. We see Zeratul coming back, which is pretty neat. SPT were able to win against the A-team with Zeratul before they completely crumbled under the pressure. And now Dehaka as well, so the first global has been deployed for KT.
Zeratul to Haka. That's so much isolation again against Whitemane.
Yeah.
She's not the tankiest. It is so strange.
And she's also really vulnerable because she doesn't have any fancy escaping tools, right? So if you lock her down from and hit an unexpected angle with that Dehaka, for example, you might have a good time actually killing her. Malthael plus Li Ming to add a little bit of sauce, a little bit of extra damage onto it. This is a little bit... Oh, man. So, there's literally only one frontliner now available for Garrosh. And if you dive in with a Zeratul Dehaka, who's going to stop them from wreaking absolute havoc onto the backline?
Right now, it's just Garrosh. Like we said, it's like, if you can get a Groundbreaker or get a Taunt, otherwise, Reyna's going to have to knock back himself. It's all about the Reyna Q. I am very concerned for the safety of the backline, as you were just mentioning, of the ATeam lineup.
Especially,
but I guess the reaction to that could just be, here's some armor, now just kill them.
Maybe, yeah. Like, if you turn on the aggression onto the enemy team, you don't have to worry about getting dove, right? So that might be the way to go, and I think they have a couple of heroes to make that work. On the other hand, though, I think KT is almost playing the exact same style that SPT actually utilized against the A-Team, right? They have the ETC, the VP as well. So once again, maybe a Void Prison stage that follow-up, and we're going to lock down that Sally White main. Who do you lean forward to, Tetcher? Who do you think has gotten the better end of the draft?
It is hard. Like,
hard to say, isn't it?
I'm gonna put my faith in the White main. I think now's her time.
Third time's the charm.
Time is up. Her time is now. Third time is the charm. Yeah, I'm all for the rule of threes. Comedy, actually, comedy also comes in threes. So 3 losses in a row would be very fun. No, sticking with White main, I believe.
All right. You know what?
Rule of threes.
I'm just gonna join you up on that bandwagon. I think it is time for White main to show what the Scarlet Crusade is made of. And with a little bit of luck and skill, we're going to see her reign supreme. However, KT's not going to make it easy for them. They do have a lot of aggression in their team. Dehaka, ETC, Zeratul. That's going to be a lot of pressure for the enemy team to sustain through. Let's see if they can do it. On the left-hand side in the blues, we're going to see Kudos top with TWTWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad.
And on the right, it is the A-Team with Jaina, Olele, Stugos, Yitzkoop, and Bruiser.
Bruiser indeed, man. He looked good in that second game when he was playing that Maiev. He had the time of his life.
Back onto the solo laner now, though, finally. Going to be back on that Malthael. White main build stays exactly the same. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, White main in China, at least, is still played with a full Q build. We haven't really seen any Inquisition-heavy builds with Clemency, for example, at level 1. That so far has only been played in other major regions, like Korea and Europe. And NA, I'm pretty sure as well, although I wasn't able to follow NA on the weekend, unfortunately, because I had to sleep.
I also do like sleep, as we see. Yitzkook stays alive, barely. But stays alive. But yeah, I also have trouble. NA is usually the one I end up sacrificing when it comes to stuff, and then I binge watch it before events.
Here we go. And you were actually to catch plenty of NA at the Western Clash a few months ago, right?
I was. So that was just very similar to EU, other than a couple changes. So that one wasn't too hard that time.
Yeah. All right, Timeless and his boys. For those of you who are new to HGC China, maybe tuning in for the first time, maybe catching up on the league after a longer hiatus. It is indeed the legendary Timeless that we all know from the memes in Europe on the Grandmaster League. You know, X looking for team.
Also for Time Flow, also substituted for CE, also for RPG. Yeah, he's not had a great run in HGC China.
He's been looking for many teams. Let's put it this way.
He has. This is the first team he's kept for more than a phase. So we'll have to see if how well that continues for him.
Yeah, some of his former teammates, of course, are kind of gone. We saw Hape, for example, sub in for the One, whether that's a permanent sub or a permanent roster change even, or just a, temporary one. Will, of course, it remains to be seen, right? It remains to be seen. On the other hand, if we take a look at the KT roster here, they also have Bad, who you can see on the Zeratul, and he used to be with the One as well, formerly known as Andre. He was part of their roster at Mid-Season Brawl.
Right, he was. He did a pretty solid job there as well. And in this game, there is also BTG's 6th, who I believe was a substitute or a coach for them, but he is now known as LK.
Yeah.
And he is, I believe, the coach or substitute for the A-Team.
Man, look at that, by the way. Garage and Whitemane is quite the combo here. We've seen many attempts by KT to actually blow the Orc to pieces, but with that heal and the armor that he gets passively, he's just quite resilient.
Very resilient indeed. And also one of the other heroes who we forgot about, Feed B, aka the person who used to be called Phoebe D and was just a jerk to our pronunciation minds. He is now Lotus in place of KT.
There we go. And then we have Lycia, of course, who's now Kiaru. Oh my goodness, China likes to change their names every now and then.
They really do. Doesn't make our jobs easier, but luckily the Chinese production team is willing to help us this time.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I wonder if we actually, like, I asked our production crew as well whether DSL from RPG, formerly known as Yen Zhao, if he played for any amateur teams in the meantime, but we haven't heard anything from them, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get to us once they have a little bit of a breathing room available for them. For now, though, back to the game. We have a pretty much split between those two temples. Blue goes over to the middle. Middle goes over to blue, and top goes over to ATeam and the Reds. So nothing major, nothing drastic happening up to this point.
Not yet, but Bruiser does force Timeless off the point, at least for the moment. Nothing, once again, too impactful. No kills for either team especially. This level 7 is hit for the A-Team first, so they hold control of that top temple.
They do. By the way, Tetra, did you see a little bit of Korea, or did you watch a little bit of Korea on the weekend? Were you able to do that?
I watched about half a match total.
Nice. Was it by chance any, or was there any Ana involved?
It was the Ana one that I saw.
Pretty crazy, eh? We see a lot of, oh, hold on a second here. We see Stugos in a lot of trouble in the white main.
Damage. Nice. Does damage. He heals himself. There is a little bit onto Yeetskug as they turn it round. And damage output saves the day.
That was clutch. But yeah, the point I was trying to make before this escalation happened is, of course, the fact that Korea seems to really try to make Ana, you know, a thing. They played it in double support, they played it as single support, and China, too, did try to make that happen in the past. It was punished every single time, though. Do you think Ana is going to be one of those heroes that might be a sleeping, like a diamond in the rough, let's put it this way?
I think Ana's okay. I think it's all about finding the exact right draft for her and not getting dove on and exploding.
Right.
I also wouldn't mind her healing numbers being ever so slightly raised. It's all about that nano boost right now. It's a hero for the heroic kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely true. Like you are sacrificing a lot by picking her, but you also gain a lot after level 10, right? Yeah. So hit or miss.
If double support comes back in, I think she'll start seeing a lot of play. Like, I think her and Brightwing, for example, could be a really good combo.
Yeah, maybe even... oh, hold that thought. Time is getting flung over into tower range. Garrus, though, only has one throw available. Still, the damage is real. Look at O'Leary actually spraying all of his damage onto the cow. For now, though, both teams are actually head-to-head. No real major advantage on either side. That is definitely going to change, though, with that second temple. Because already, as you can see, both tower lines have taken significant damage. KT only have one tower left. And the team that is losing the healing fountain early, I think, is actually going to have to surrender the objective as well. Healing fountains, especially on Sky Temple, are ever so important when the temples are up.
Potions are down, but they're very far forward. Good face melt to interrupt the groundbreaker there by Garrosh. Level 10 is hit. Yarel's actually holding hers. Is she thinking of going for damage? Nope, there we go. Going for the Scarlet Aegis. And Last Rites comes in for the Malthael. But KT, they hit level 10 pretty soon afterwards. And just in time for this bottom temple if they wish to contest it. With Zeratul already hovering around mid. Looks like he's going to take a long rotation. No, he's going to wait for one more minion wave. A little bit of extra experience.
A little bit of extra experience it is. Dehaka, in the meantime, is completely uncontested. Trying to get a little bit of extra experience in because they realize, you know what? Yeah. With the level 10s and ours being a little bit late, there's no way we could have really enforced anything. So that bottom lane is completely gone for KT. They leave it be. They try to keep a healthy experience count, and that's actually what they do. I was going to say, man, Hanzo is still holding on to his level 10, but here goes the Dragon's Arrow, and we can't really fault him for that.
Yeah, but I mean, we see a little bit more Dragon Strike these days, but it makes so much sense to go for the Dragon Arrow. It's just so much crowd control. It's only if you need like an incredible zoning tool, I would say.
Yeah.
Or you have all the crowd control in the world already that you don't need a don't need Dragon Arrow. You can go for Dragon Strike.
Surprise, surprise! 4 members and only 1 bruiser. And I think that is going to be the first kill of the game, ladies and gentlemen. First blood going over to KT. It was only a matter of time, of course, until Malthael was about to fall. Now Bad needs to be careful. He can end up falling. He's one of the crucial members to actually secure this. 12 seconds until Malthael comes back. 50% on the boss. I think KT, if they don't misplay this, they should actually have this one pretty safely.
It's interesting, because Wave of Force is available. Aegis is here, but Garrosh doesn't want to take the risk. He could, in theory, try to move in and get the quick toss, but the Sleep and the Void Prisms is just too many tools. Like
exactly.
you said, it was a well-executed move in by KT there.
So these are the moments where you're like, why did ATeam even bother, lingering near the boss? Shouldn't they have been like, okay, guys, we're going to give this up. We don't have Malthael. Let's try to get some mercenaries in the meantime. 2 camps are available. Let's actually try to get some pressure middle maybe and deal some damage onto the buildings. Instead, they shuffled around and they wasted a little bit of time. And these are all these, mini plays that really have rendered China to become this, I don't know, inferior region in Asia at least. So, yeah, just some unclean play every now and then, I feel like.
Well, it was still clean enough from the A-Team to burn through that boss before it gets too much value, and they still have all of their forts, whereas KT have still lost 1. But XP is still almost identical, as level 13 is hit at about the same time for both teams.
Alrighty then, let's see what the A-Team is able to do now after they disposed of that boss quite handsomely here. They finally take a mercenary camp, which is definitely going to be quite helpful. 2 temples available. Let's see. There should be slightly higher priority on that middle temple for KT because that middle lane was already weakened much before.
Yeah, and they do.
Yeah, and that they do. So well played by them. They got the fort and immediately pulled back because they realized, you know what? Don't want to take a risk here. We're already ahead in terms of structures ever so slightly. Let's just rotate over to the bottom. We're going to get another fort because look at the health bars on those forts. Get another one secured for them.
Always good pressure. Another fort going down. Looks like we're going to end up, assuming bot channels all the way through, with 3 for 3 in terms of forts for both teams. As top, final 5 shots should finish that off.
So and both teams are going to be fortless.
Is that enough damage in bot lane still? I think there is.
I think so too, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's loads left. They got that one.
Question is 5 members of the A-Team. They're rotating around. KT is still outnumbered. Zeratul should be able to blink over the wall. There we go. He's trying to capture him, though. Dahaka, though, he's the real MVP in that moment, right? Not only does he soak in additional experience, but he's also keeping the mercenary camp away. And if you're a Dahaka player at this moment, you always watch the minimap, right? If you don't have voice communications in Hero League, for example, here you always watch the minimap because you have to potentially arrive at your team's side just in case, the opposing team gets a good grip onto you.
Speaking of good grip, he's already taking a fair amount of percentage damage. He did take the fort.
Oh, the dodge!
Isolation is dodged by Bruiser, who self-cleanses just to be sure as the chase begins, but Garrosh getting zoned away by Timeless.
All right, Bad could drop a VP to keep Garrosh at bay, but the slow of Decker Kane actually takes care of that, so they don't have to waste a massive cooldown. Pretty cool to see. But yeah, that funky dodge was super cool to see. Whether he did it on purpose or whether it was a coincidence, of course, is questionable. But as you said, the self-cleanse would have been good anyways, so at least the silence would have been gone.
Timeless. Be careful, friend. Groundbreaker. Toss. There it is.
The taunt
as well. And last rites for Stacks. There we go. Nicely executed. And Diamond Skin comes in for the A-Team again.
Okay, so looks like we have another defensive tool against all that Zeratul burst damage, perhaps. So, yeah, second Diamond Skin game of the day. And Timeless, man, he's going to be all right. Losing the ETC here is definitely not the worst that could have happened to you. The Garrosh didn't see Bat here, by the way, because he was standing still, so true invisibility. But yeah, he has stage dive, right, so he can appear at his team's side at any given moment. So, not going to be the end of the world once again.
So now, double temple phase once again. Bot and top. as Bad looks for his angle. He still has Void Prison. Everything is available for KT, whereas the A-Team, they still 10 seconds away before that last right. Zeratul moves in.
The VP
is dropped. There's a taunt onto Zeratul as well. Stage dive does not land because the VP could not be cancelled. But it's still enough. They absolutely shred them. And Waymaid and Li Ming go down.
Yeah, actually, the Void Prison, as you said, Tetra, was a little bit mistimed, right? Because Bat was still... was he taunted by Garrosh?
He was taunted by Garrosh, yes.
Okay, so that's why he couldn't lift it, right? That's why the stage dive kind of was whiffed without damage and slowing. But hey, it was still enough to bring ETC in a good spot to, you know, use his basic ability CC to lock everyone down and, you know, get 2 kills, which is pretty amazing. Pretty good.
Worked out for them this time. As, speaking of working out, the A-Team gonna get themselves another kill.
Yeah.
Last right is used for stacks.
Pretty good, but hey, all that distraction, was it enough to actually secure them a boss here? Hanzo still on the fight in the fray, and with that, with his build, which is of course tailored all towards that PvE damage, they're gonna get this boss pretty handsomely. So Kiaru in the end gave his life for a noble cause, and that bottom lane is already getting weakened right now by that one temple. The A-Team, can they actually save that keep? I think they should be.
They can certainly try. As they move into the point, so they're going to try and let the boss. Groundbreaker lands. Oh no, it was the knockback from Rainer that actually landed. But that's still going to be enough. Timeless will get shredded. Malthael has already started on that boss. Percentage damage will work on the boss, so he'll begin to burn that down.
Yeah, tiny misplay here by Timeless. Unfortunately, he could have probably used that a little bit early. He was too greedy there, trying to squeeze in as many shots as possible from that bottom temple. But really well executed by A-Team if they don't lose that keep, because then they timed everything perfectly. They ignored the boss only to arrive back in the nick of time to save that keep. Oh, that was actually pretty close, though.
That's basically one shot from a temple away from dying, but the next temple's a little bit away now, as the temple phase we were just watching has just concluded. So now the A-Team, they can continue to control the map otherwise. They're going to immediately grab their Bruiser Camp because it's basically the only thing available on their side of the map, and then they're going to have to start moving across the map. They're going to be too late. Hanzo, he does this. Goodbye camp.
Yeah, the only problem I was going to say, like, for the A-Team still right now is, of course, it's great news, right, that they were able to save that keep. However, still, any mercenary camp at this point in time is going to be a potential keep threat. So they're really going to have to make sure to keep their lanes in check. If they don't do that and they don't pay attention, that might be a gone keep, which also opens then potential core rushes or core calls much more easily for KT. Now, speaking of KT, they're trying to keep that top lane safe and sound for now. And level 20 is going to be a little bit closer for KT if they manage to get up a good soak.
Indeed, and that's not so bad here. They're able to, like, just keeping up a good soak is not too difficult for them, KT especially, as all the lanes are pushed up against them. The A-Team have had to finally move across the map because they've run out of things to do on their side. They have their Siege Giants available, but if they can take this risk, then why not? Right now, literally just using Rainer and the Banshee to hit over the wall. We do see a little bit of white main as well. Yep. Garrosh, just forwards, because he can toss anyone who moves in off the point.
Yeah, it's a pretty good move, but also I like the patience by KT, right? At this point, they realize, you know what? If we continue to play like Chinese teams would play all the time, right? If we go full commitment mode, onto this mercenary camp, then we could lose a team fight, and we could very much like lose a top keep and maybe even lose the game altogether. So they realize, you know what? That's not worth it. Let's just get that level 20. We can defend that mercenary camp easy peasy. So a little bit of patience, which is not something we're used to seeing from KT, mind you, by any means. And with level 20, they now get the self-sustain here for Zeratul after those cleaves. We're going to have the Bottomless Flask for Decker Kane as well, which is going to be pretty sweet. And an ability or talent that was winning games earlier for RPG, the Contagion.
Yeah, that could be the game-ending move, Contagion, at any point if your team groups up in the wrong situation, as well as the Death Metal for ETC.
Oh,
just don't group up. Just don't group up. That's your job right now. Dragon Arrow, Sleep, Contagion, Zeratul resets and Void Prism, the Death Metal. Everything from the side of KT screams, don't stand near each other to the A-Team.
Sometimes, Tetra, that is easier said than done, though, if your Zeratul, or if the enemy team's Zeratul actually catches you on a rotation, for example, catches 2, 3, 4, 5 members, in 1v. And all of a sudden, you end up being grouped up. Oh, look at Bad here. Mind gaming his opponents, dealing so much poke damage already.
Parker takes a little bit of damage. Not enough to finish him off, though. Groundbreaker was used. I think he expected Zeratul to come in a little bit earlier. VP, stage dive. Dragon Arrow only hits Garrosh, but he indomitabled it as they chase forward. Sleep lands onto Malthael, who's now alone in the backline, but everyone is dropping low. Zeratul putting on huge pressure. Malthael actually killed off 2 people. Zeratul is down as well. Malthael's wrecking the backline as he moves through. Bruiser is popping off, gets another kill. Death Metal just catches 2 members on the side. Hudson's going to try and finish off Li Ming, but can't do it.
Yeah, Jimmy just with a random shuffle in there. Li Ming also enjoying herself in the mosh pit there. Beautifully done, and that needs to be the game, right, guys? 4 members dead, 40 seconds until they will arrive respectively. That was a wonderful engage by the A-Team, as you said. Zeratul did get a good VP off, however, it was not enough follow-up damage by ETC and his boys to really sack in the kill. And as it is, the healing was good, the damage was even better. Malthael, as he said, completely out of his mind. And they're going to take game 1 here. The A-Team looking indomitable still after that last series.
That was in no ways not a close game. Lotus actually gets last righted, but he's fine. Can't even finish off Malthael as the quick heals come in from Stugos. And the A-Team are able to take game number 1. Very nicely done.
Nicely done indeed, and it all looked so easy, right? And you can really see how KT are looking devastated after their loss. For the most part, they were in the driver's seat, right? They had so many tools available to really nail down those targets, especially Bad, you know, and Zeratul, I think, really did a great job confusing them, you know, trying to be unpredictable, trying to lure Garrosh away, for example. But in the end, it was just not enough. Malthael proved to be indomitable as well. Super strong damage, and boom, there goes the game.
There goes the game, indeed. And with that, the A-Team